Everybody, welcome to TRA 4202 Logistics Systems. I know that we have a new student in the course, and so make sure that you're going through and doing your introductions to introduce yourself. And for those of you who are new, I usually do a weekly review over the assignments for the week to go over what is due and to watch out for some of the things to look out for. Alright, so your weekly reading for this week is chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chapter 1 is Supply Chain Management and Overview. Chapter 2 is Global Dimensions of Supply Chain. Chapter 3, Role of Logistics in Supply Chain, and Chapter 4, Distribution and Omnichannel Network. So some of these things we've already covered, but to truly learn something is to practice and repetition. So when you repeat things continually, that's when you actually learn them. So some of it will be review and some of it will be expanding on what we've already talked about. For instance, we haven't really talked about omnichannel. We've talked about globalization, but we're going to talk about the global dimensions of supply chain in this case. So there will be a little bit of review, and then there will be some expounding upon some of those subjects. Alright, so your discussion question, just like always, you need to have 4 separate posts on 3 separate days. I would like to see you corresponding with each other more instead of me. So I've been holding off posting my post because this is supposed to be a discussion among you and your fellow students. So make sure that you're reading your fellow students' posts and responding to those students, and make sure that you're posting in a timely manner so that people can read your post and respond to them. So the first post is saying, what are the 4 flows within supply chains? Why do you feel that they are important, and how are they related to each other? So you can find this information in chapter 1. I'm not going to tell you exactly where, but I'm telling you that it can be found in chapter 1. And I want to hear your view. Like it says, why do you feel that they are important? I don't want to hear why the book thinks they're important. I've already read that. I want to know why you think they're important. Second post is physical distribution has a special relationship to marketing. What is the nature of the relationship between logistics and marketing? Is the relationship becoming more or less important, and why? So again, you can find this information in chapter 3. However, I don't want you to just regurgitate what's in the book. I want you to tell me why the relationship between distribution and marketing is important, and why you feel it's going to become less or more important. Okay. We have another internet research project for the term. So for this term, we're going to, you'll need to locate an article from a reputable logistics source or from the Kaiser University Library on supply chain management. The article should cover one or more of the following topics: sourcing materials and services, chapters 5 through 8, managing inventory in the supply chain, which is covered in chapters 9 through 12, and aligning the supply chains, chapters 12 through 15. Now, I forgot to put this in the instructions, but what I want is I want you to pick a company who sources materials and services or manages an inventory and supply chain. I just don't want an overall view of what sourcing materials and services is or what managing inventory and supply chain is. I want you to take a specific company that practices these different things and tell me a little bit about them. So provide a brief summary of what the article is about. So in this case, you should tell me what company you chose, maybe a little bit about the history of the company, and how, what it is that you're choosing to focus on above. So as it says, select one or more of the topics above and explain how the article has incorporated some of these tools. how the company in the article could have or should have incorporated these tools and why. That's why it's important to choose a company who practices these things or could practice them and do better, because it's part of the requirements of the assignment. Your paper should be submitted as a Microsoft Word document. It should consist of at least 350 words. APA guidelines do apply. Your paper should be double spaced as well, it's going to be typewritten in one of the fonts listed in the 7th edition of the APA guidelines. Make sure that you provide a separate title page. No abstract is needed. In-text citations must correspond to all the references listed on your separate title page. If you're not citing it, then you should not be referencing it. If you have any questions about that, please let me know, and I can help you through that. So for weeks 1 and 2, you're going to find the article on supply chain management, conduct the appropriate research, as well as start to write your rough draft. So you have 2 weeks to find this article and start writing the rough draft. So do not wait to the last minute, because you are going to have to submit it to the OWL in a timely manner to get it back and have it done. Week 3, you're going to have to submit your article to the OWL. You do not have to wait to the end of week 3 to do that. If you have your rough draft ready and you want the OWL to review it earlier, you can do so. And when we get to the week 3, I'll show you, I'll talk to you more about submitting properly to the OWL. Week 4, you're going to submit the draft, the final draft. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. Week 1, you have a quiz. The quiz is comprised of 15 questions, and you'll have 2 hours to complete that. Week 2, you have a midterm, which is 35 questions. Week 3 is a quiz of 15 questions, and the midterm will cover everything for week 1 and week 2. This quiz on week 1 will only cover week 1 work. Week 3 will cover the week 3 work, and then week 4 will be a comprehensive exam for your final, which covers all 4 weeks. So for this quiz, you have 2 hours to complete it, 15 questions to cover the material that we covered in week 1. For those who are new, Kaiser Lives will be held every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can make it, great. I do provide 0.5 points extra credit for those who attend the live session and participate. If you cannot attend the live session, review the recorded session and write a summary of 100 to 200 words in length, and it should be on a Word document and submitted through this section right here, week 1 extra credit. And you, again, 0.5 points doesn't sound like a lot, but when you add them up at the end of the term, it can equal up to 2 points. And if you're teetering between a B and an A, it could bump you up to an A, and vice, and so on down the road. All right, so that's the assignments for this week. If anybody has any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me via email, phone, whatever you need. I am more than willing to help. Okay, have a great week.